and I will update the training and show you how to continue inviting people. I don't know how many people have you been inviting per day right now?
A lot, 100 people. Because
Okay.
I did like during the night, like when I'm tired, I don't even have to use my brain. I just like searching on the cell navigator, and then by what we did before, and then I just go through the pages. I just add and add. So somewhere around 100 or over 100.
Yeah. So what I would suggest first of all is like, you'll have to slow down because, right now LinkedIn is getting very
Oh,
strict. And
okay.
now, are you using linked helper or are you doing manually?
Manually.
Okay. So even if you're doing manually, when you do add that much volume, they might consider that to be spamming and they might cause problem for you. So what I would suggest right now is you want to limit to like 50 requests a day.
Mm-hmm.
And of the 100, how many have been accepting?
I have high accepting rate now. I think it was like around 30 a
Okay, so
day.
that's
Yeah, 20
okay.
to
So
30. Yeah.
see, the numbers are not adding up because you're telling me
Oh,
that you
yeah.
only added 330 people, and now you're telling me that you're adding 30 a day, and you've been doing it for more than 10 days. I know that. So what's wrong here? The numbers are not.
Okay. I did. I mean, I did. I think I did every day, but I might not did Saturday,
That's okay.
Saturday. I don't do Saturday and Sunday, and some Friday I didn't do it. But I remember was like I'm more consistently to do it. I think from Monday to
Which is fine.
Thursday.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Whatever day it is, just because looks like right now,
yeah,
since you started, I think it's been like over 2 months or 3 months now
yeah.
in the program,
Uh-huh.
and you have added about 100 people a month. So if I were to do my math based on what you are telling me,
Yeah.
you added 100 people per month, and you got, three, like 4 to 5 good meetings, and you got one client, and you have like two or three, still possibility.
Mm-hmm.
But 100 per month is technically low number,
Right. Yeah.
right? Because our goal, and now this may change when I work on the training this week and I look at all the different options,
Yeah.
but with linked helper automation, our target was to go between 4 to 600 a month people,
Yeah.
right? Now obviously with that might change, it might come down to like 250
Mm-hmm.
or so a month. I still want to maintain, I still want to find an approach that adds like 300 people a month to people,
Mm-hmm.
and I need to work on that to find what is the best way to do that.
I only remember is okay. I think I remember was from the beginning of this month. So this month I started to really add it. So maybe it's from the July 12th.
But
Yeah,
no,
July 12th. Yes,
but,
go ahead.
but yeah, but this is why it's super important to use the tracking sheet, because you can't really have wrong numbers, because if you have wrong numbers, then everything is wrong, in terms of the way we plan, the way we see the problem and everything. So first of all, like, you should always, always, always have a very good view, and it may not be every single day, but every week on a weekend, you
Mm-hmm.
want to try to spend some time to get the data correct. And I know it's a bit of a pain in the ass to do that,
Mm-hmm.
but you know did, like, since you started, whether did you add 300 people or 700 people will make a difference in us trying to figure out what is wrong
Mm-hmm.
with, so you need, the
Till
numbers
end
are
of
very
last
important.
month. Till end of last month, I know I have 650. So when I started, I had a 150 people. So till end of last month, I had
How much
650.
you have today? What is your number today?
Today, I have 980.
Okay, so you started the program with 150 and now you have 980, which is 1000. So you added 850 people, roughly,
Mm,
right? Since the beginning of times when you started.
830
Yeah,
people. Yeah.
830 people. Okay, so of 830, you now need to see how many people responded to the message and how many people came, because that will tell us, do we need to change our message or not?
Mm-hmm.
Because we can get just subjective in terms of trying different things, but if people are responding to your message, and so we really need to look at all of that, because without that we'll be making mistakes and changing things that we shouldn't be changing.
Mm-hmm.
um, but at a minimum, like, what we have to do is we have to continue inviting 30 to 40 or 50 people a day.
Okay.
And the key right now for you is the following. I think what you need to really make sure
Yeah,
is
I think
the
it.
message that you're sending to people when they accept the first message.
Mm-hmm.
You need to look at your numbers and see if people are responding, like if enough people are responding positively to that so that you can take them into a call, because the first message is where we normally change. So you need to see how many people got the message and how many people responded to you. At least they answered your question, right? They didn't say right away on the call, but
Mm-hmm.
they responded to you. They did not ignore your message.
Right.
That we need to know, because like in my case, for example, I tested this message that now I'm sending to advisors, and
Mm-hmm.
I tested with like 300 or 400 people, and
Mm-hmm.
it gave me a lot of positive response. And I'm talking like 20% people would respond. There
Mm-hmm.
were zero no thank yous, and 20% people will start talking to me, and then I'll have like 10-15% people get on the phone call with me.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I can stop tracking that. I don't really have to track it. I mean, I'm still sort of tracking it, but you need to track it till a point where we know for sure that this is working.
Mm-hmm.
And because that's the first thing I would tell you to change, but I don't know if that's the problem with you or not. Because in our case, in LinkedIn strategy, the
Mm-hmm.
process again to get client is very simple. We
Mm-hmm.
find the niche, which is you have it, and you go and search for those people.
Mm-hmm.
And the search category is important, because remember we talked about, if you're inviting very senior people,
Mm-hmm.
then you might get low response because they're busy or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're going mid-level, then you might get more. So
Mm-hmm.
you need to make sure that who you're inviting is a healthy mix,
Mm-hmm.
number one. And then when we send them this message, are we getting enough people to respond to us? Because we do want, with our new message, we do want at least, like, of 100 people, 15 people should be responding back to you. If you're getting like 10 people or 5 people only respond back, then we may want to change the message and work on that.
Okay, I feel like this is how I feel, and I think I counted before. Like when I had a 650 people, the responding rate was okay. I think it was. There are a lot of people. I think I mentioned like a lot of people say something, but it's just now leads to a phone call, and now like within that 330, I think you're right. That 330, I was most target like executives, like most of them were VPs. So I searched like around this San Francisco area, so more bigger than where I live. Then the responding rate was getting lower. So that's how it is. So
Yeah, like, yeah, so that's why I think the good thing is to have mix, because right now I think, to be honest,
mm-hmm.
I would, in the beginning, it's always good to have more meetings than less.
Right.
And even if it is with people with lesser money, I told you last time, let's not worry too much about that,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because when you can go from zero to 100 miles an hour right away,
Mm-hmm.
right? We need to give some time to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, I would consider this like, as you're trying to build a process and you're trying to learn, and you
Mm-hmm.
need to practice,
Mm-hmm.
and you need to have more calls. Now, that's not to say that, if everybody comes in the call saying I have no money and no money, then you don't do anything. No, of course you want to fix something there. But I
Mm-hmm.
would not go super tight, because then you will have very few calls coming in, and you might close one person in 1 or 3 months, which you don't want that.
Right.
So you want to go, as I said, the standard for you should be executives and management is who you're focusing on. I would say anybody over 40 years of age, or people with 10 years of experience on LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm.
like over 10 years of experience in the LinkedIn search,
Mm-hmm.
you should put them and invite them.
I
And
did. I did. I even invite those like younger people, but I feel younger people never respond. And then also I including like 6 years experience too, not just 10 years, like 6 years. So, but
okay,
I guess the title probably because I was looking at the title VP.
No, yeah. So you want to use managers too. Don't just go with like you want to go with managers, senior managers, directors, VP, executive VP, C-level people, but you want to start from manager onwards.
Because I saw a lot of directors, the term of directors, I just don't like it because there are so many like a crap directors and they were making like really low money on nonprofit. And because I was working in nonprofit, so
No,
I
but don't
basically,
go. No, but remove the not-for-profit then. Like put industries and say okay, technology industry or manufacturing or
oh, right, I can,
pharmaceutical industry and put directors.
okay, okay.
Directors are like big deal. I used to be director when I was working and I was making a shitload of money. So, a lot of people like director is a very good title and it's a senior role,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll find good people there.
Okay.
So work on your search. Make sure that you are, sending the invitation and track the response on the message because if the message is not correct, then you will get lower response. And then you do need to kind of work on like when I do this next this training update this week, I'm going to do a little bit different training in terms of how to get people through the friendly message on the phone call. So I'll kind of teach you
Mm-hmm.
properly because I've noticed that to be kind of a bit of a challenge for people. So I'll show you and explain to you in the training,
Mm-hmm.
and you need to practice that because what happens is when you ask this question to people, they'll respond, and
Mm-hmm.
then you need to take the response and then respond
Direct.
back to them, and they'll respond back to you, and then you respond back and get them on the phone call.
Mm-hmm.
So a two-step response type approach. I'm going to show you how to do that,
Mm-hmm.
and you need to keep practicing because that is really critical to get people on the phone call,
I
right?
agree.
Because
Mm-hmm.
if you don't do that, then you're not going to get on the phone call. So I would suggest, in your case, continue working on LinkedIn and wait for this week training that is coming out,
Mm-hmm.
and work on the LinkedIn part, and
Mm-hmm.
also start looking into the Facebook training that is already out and it's going to finish in a couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm looking at it this
yeah,
morning.
and Facebook is going to be very interesting actually. I think the training is going to be good. You're going to enjoy it, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
different beast, but it is going to be generally very automated. And
Mm-hmm.
what will now happen is if you spend like small amount of money per day, let's say $10 or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and start testing it, you might start getting phone numbers to call
Mm-hmm.
of people who showed interest and who even had certain amount of asset value.
Mm-hmm.
So that will mix it up properly for you,
Mm-hmm.
so that while you're working hard on the LinkedIn and improving the skills, you will also have some numbers to call and follow up with people.
Mm-hmm.
So that will balance it out and give you a little bit more opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
But you know once you really get good at the LinkedIn stuff, there will be a lot more meetings that you'll get because that thing works well. It's just that there are many steps you have to perfect. It is not as easy as sending messages to people and everybody get on the phone. That's why LinkedIn is shutting down this mass automated messaging, because people stopped responding to people because there's so many messages being sent,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So we need to get a little creative about various
Mm-hmm.
things, but starting off, make sure that you're tracking the data.
Mm, okay. Okay. And the I send you the two other
Yeah,
reports
yeah,
that
yeah. I haven't seen that, but I'll take a look at that.
okay. So I really don't know like how I should do repeat by sending. I think this is what I need to do is to send out some of those two reports to some people that I have been talking to, then I feel they have possibility to get on the phone call. Or the people I met.
Mhm.
Um, so so that's the one. I don't know how to do it. And also, yesterday I wrote the article, which
Mhm.
is have 5 people like it. So
Don't care. Don't worry about that. Doesn't matter.
and the article I posted before, nobody likes it.
That's okay. We don't care. It's not for that purpose.
Okay, but it's I'm thinking because if I write myself, I'm thinking to write myself, like the way you said, like twice a month or once a month, because it has to go through compliance, right? I'm thinking a way to avoid that. I know if I share like whatever Edward Jones, like they were on the social media and they were okay to send to the public. If I share that and then I state something related to economy for the first paragraph, then say something, ask some question related to the retirement, or put some points on the retirement for the second paragraph, the compliance will be okay, because they feel like I would just sharing the article and restate the article that was being pre-proved.
So yeah, so look, start with that, because it's better to do something than nothing.
Right.
And if you can add a couple of lines before you share, then start with that for sure.
Okay.
But then you do need to find a process and see what would it take to get approval. And I'm sure it will get approved. It's not a big deal, trust me.
Oh, really?
You just need
I
to,
know.
don't be afraid of these people, because if you want to become a top advisor, then you have to deal with these compliance people, and you need to learn how to get through them. There's no other way.
Okay, I guess yes. I guess like I feel I don't know so many things, and then at some point I kind of like feel like everything is starting to falling apart
No,
because I don't know so.
like that's what it takes to build something. It falls apart, and then you put it back.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I feel like
I feel the same. I feel different. No, I feel the exact same.
so
But
that's why like I was like, okay, let me do something. I know there are so many things I have to do, but then I feel I have such a limited capacity or ability to do them. I feel like I can do like something smaller and then
and
starting.
I told you, start with this, what you just said, and
Mhm,
then start with writing little articles. And
mhm,
if more and more people have problems, then we'll figure a solution out as well for that problem at some point.
mhm,
I'm also trying to learn where people are getting stuck in the program and what else I can provide as help.
mhm.
And we'll see if this is an area of congestion for people of writing articles. But there is some benefit in terms of you writing it and you communicating it and you learning the skills. That is
Yeah.
important, and it takes time. And I give you, just follow the framework. Nothing too big, even if it is 3 lines, 4 lines, it doesn't have to be long, and
Mhm.
it's not a big deal. Like,
Okay.
you know so it's just a matter of practice. Something you never did before, it will always be scary.
Okay. I think I will start this, and
Yeah,
then for myself to feel more confident enough to write something as my voice to
yeah,
put on the public, and also to go through the compliance. And I know they said the process is write down and send to them. They will prove
exactly.
it. Yeah.
Exactly. So then write something down and send it to them. Why are we talking?
I mean,
It would probably be
so
approved by now.
I mean, it's just so hard for myself to come up something, right? It's like
You
when I
don't, May, you don't have to look. Go to the training in the week 2, the art of writing, and
uh-huh.
go to, there is this instruction sheet that I have where I show you how I write a blog article. I actually do it in front, and you see how I search on Google, how I
Mhm.
find stuff, and how I make it up.
Okay.
That's what it takes. You don't have to think. You just have to search and
Oh,
write in your own language. And I did that
oh,
article in the video. Where
uh-huh.
I write a blog article, I think on a teacher or something.
Okay.
I had no knowledge of what that is. I did this real time. You see me doing it, and you do exact same thing.
Okay.
So that's the process. It's there in the training. Go to week 2
Mhm.
and practice. And if you want me to review, just email it to me, and I'll quickly take a look at it. But
Okay.
it's not. Yeah, it's just do it. You'll be fine. It's not that difficult, and it
I
doesn't
know.
have to be perfect.
I think it's like exercise, right? It's a part
Yeah,
of your muscle. You have just to do
yeah, you
it.
have it. But it's an important one, because this will help you communicate with your prospect. And the more you confidently you can talk to your prospect, the
Mm-hmm.
better everything will be, because they will trust you better. They will know that you know what you're talking about. Your knowledge on will be nothing if you're not able to communicate to people with your
Like,
own words and own style, right?
yeah,
It,
I
it is
agree with you
important.
because for your videos I started to because I didn't understand what's like educate your clients. I have no idea what does that mean, like exactly, like everybody, you gotta educate your clients. I never understand, I think because I'm too new.
Yeah,
But then I think the other day I was during the night I was
yeah,
looking on Facebook, then he was doing a video, right?
right,
And
right,
I would look into, I was like, I don't have much things to do. Let me watch this. And
yeah,
then I feel like I learned something. And then I feel, probably that's a term called educate your prospect or clients. Sometimes people, they want to look at something like just for a couple minutes, quick, and
right,
get some information useful for
right,
them. Um,
exactly,
maybe you post like 10 or 12 and they will be like, oh, I don't have time, and but there will be one time they will be like, I do
exactly,
have time now. And then they watch
exactly,
one and then they will be like, time they'll be like, I need to think about this problem, I need to think
yeah,
about it.
exactly.
So
That's how
yeah,
Donald Trump won the election.
yes, actually he after this program I starting to understand why he
What he did,
won.
right? Yeah,
Seriously,
he just
I
said
think,
he just said we have a big problem, and he just repeated that like billion times. Every day he will say we have a problem, we have a problem, and everybody said shit, we have a problem. He's right.
yeah, and also he's playing dumb because I don't think he's that dumb. Like he just talk about the way those those people doesn't have much
Right.
education. Those people live in the countryside, how they think about the world. He just talk the way how they think about.
Exactly.
And they all like select him. And I remember like everybody look at that was like, this world is crazy, how people gonna support him, like he was
Yeah.
talking crazy. But this is why I think,
Yeah.
as you mentioned in that video, he was talking about those little stories, like
Yeah.
how those people hated
Right.
the economy or society. There are some problems
Yeah.
when people talk about big. This is why I was thinking to to use Edward Jones, like they talk about a lot of
It's
about
fine.
economy.
Anything is fine. Yeah. Start. I think whatever you send is fine. Start with
Okay.
that. Right
Mm-hmm.
now, the whole thing is to get started,
Mm-hmm.
and then you will be, I think, on the right track.
Okay.
So May, I got a couple of other folks on the line. So any other
Okay.
questions before I jump on?
Okay. I'm good. Thank you. I
Okay, just
will.
send me a message if you need any review of any
Okay.
articles, and I'll take a
No
look at the
problem.
report.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay.
Perfect.
Talk to you later then.
Thank
Okay.
you. Bye.
Bye bye.
Hey, Karan.
Hey Deepak, how are
I'm good. How are you?
you? Good. I
Perfect.
was listening to the conversation.
And was it scary?
Exact same problem with
Well,
respect to writing.
oh,
I don't know how to get started.
writing is, but you're not there. So the good thing with you, you don't need to worry about that right now.
Yeah.
In her case, I think because she has already done, and I think Eric is on the line as well after you, so I'll be talking to him as well on this. So our approach is in the beginning, our main thing is going to be to connect with people, message, and have the meeting. That's what you need to start. Um, if you can, you need to write few articles, right? I mean, as I said, it's better to do that, and if you can't, then do it without.
So
But
that should not stop me
it
basically
should
to
not
start.
stop you. But tell
Okay.
me, like, I do want to address your concern about writing, so we can talk about that. But I just want to let you know that the number one thing in the beginning is to connect with people, like update your profile that you have template, then going to message and figuring it out, the process of what we say, and then when they respond back, what we tell them to get them on the phone call is the key part. And once you get to like few hundred people in a month and a half that you will connect,
Mm-hmm.
then we need to pay a little bit more attention on writing stuff.
Okay.
But tell me, like, what is like scary about writing, I guess.
Just to get started. That's the
Oh,
scary
but
part because
it's
like
you
I'm
open a Word document and you start writing and typing. That literally is the process to start writing. And the way I do it, and if you see everything I write, all my posts, all my
yeah.
videos, it just like, think of arbitrarily there is a prospect sitting in front of you,
Mm-hmm.
and what would you tell him? That's it. You just start talking to an arbitrary person and let your words be just what you would tell the person,
Okay.
right?
Sounds easy, but
No, but seriously, like, let's say I'm a prospect right now, and let's say, what, I have no idea what what is the difference between RRSP and retirement planning.
okay.
That's the question to you as an advisor. And then what would you tell me? Right? And keep in mind, you don't have to tell me the big story, right? You just have to tell me a little bit. Like what would you tell me in like 2 minutes? That really is what it is. And the best way to do that is just bullet point it, right?
Mm.
So you
Okay.
explain what is RRSP, okay? So a couple of points on that. And what is retirement planning? Is RRSP equal to retirement planning or not, right? And that's it. You don't have to tell the whole story. You just say, listen, here
So
is,
don't go into a lot of technical stuff.
yeah, like again, we were talking about Donald Trump piece as well, and just to re-emphasize,
Okay.
you kind of have to think of your prospect as like at a grade 3 level people. And this is not to disrespect them or anything, but that really is how they are, which means their level of knowledge of what you guys know is like, really low level, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you need to dumb it down to that level to communicate with them. So a lot of people, I believe this to be true, honestly believe that RRSP equal to retirement planning.
Right.
I think that is a big myth in Canada because the way the terms are used, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody has an RRSP account with TD or whatever self-directed, RRSP, they think they don't need a retirement plan. They got covered, right?
Okay.
So you need to, and you always need to pick, and this is where I think, like this is going to be I didn't want to always complicate the training unnecessarily to really go into psychological way to teach, but you always have to pick a point of view to write. So in my case, as an example, one of my key pillar, if you will, for advisors communication is you should only focus on meeting, nothing else, right? And you hear me say a lot of that in all my videos and everything.
Yep.
That's one of my key points. So I have 2 or 3 key points, and you need to pick few of yours. The other key point I have is big opportunity on social media to get meetings and clients. Big.
Okay.
And you hear me say that a lot.
Yep.
Just the way Donald Trump said, we have a big problem, America is broken. And he always used that, right?
So
And
repeat again and again. That's what you're saying, basically.
yeah, we'll repeat again and again and have a strong point of views on certain topics. And you need to find, so for example, and this is a good one, you can steal it because I'm not an advisor.
Right.
But check with your people and see if people honestly believe that RRSP equal to retirement planning. And then one of your message would be, I'm sorry, but RRSP does not mean retirement planning. It is one small piece of a big puzzle.
Okay.
That becomes your message. You can pretty much just repeat the damn thing multiple times and explain to it in a different way. That allows you to create content now, because that comes from a core, right? That is one main message. And it makes it easy. So now when you're sitting at home and in your whiteboard, you just write in between,